I should open the window. There's some fresh air in here. Alright. We're going to be reading the history part of section 2 in chapter 1. It starts at 1910 and ends in the 2000s. Okay, and then we have about 2 more paragraphs after that before we get to section 3, chapter 1. So right now, we're going to talk about the 1900s, all the way to 1910. In 1904, Max Foster immigrated from Lodz, Poland to the United States. By 1908, he had an American-sized name to Max Factor and moved to Los Angeles, where he began making and selling makeup. His makeup was popular with movie stars because it wouldn't cake or crack, even under hot studio lights. On October 8th of 1906, Charles Nessler invented a heavily wired machine that supplied electrical current to metal rods around which hair strands were wrapped. These heavy units were heated during the wave process. They were kept away from the scalp by a complex system of counterbalancing weights that were suspended from an overhead chandelier mounted on a stand. 2 methods were used to wind hair strands. In the metal units, long hair was wound from the scalp to the ends in its technique called spiral wrapping. After World War I, when women cut their hair into short bob styles and congregate, wrapping technique was introduced in this method. Shorter hair was wound from the ends towards the scalp. The hair was shorter hair, then styled into deep waves with loose end curls. One of the most noble success stories of the cosmetology industry is that Sarah Bree Loved. She was the daughter of a former slave and was orphaned at the age of 7 when she went to work in the cotton fields of Mississippi Delta in 1906. Sarah married 3rd husband C.J. Walker and became Miss Madam C.J. Walker. Sarah suffered from a scalp condition and began to lose her hair, which caused her experiment with store-bought products and homemade remedies. She began to sell her scalp conditioning and healing treatment called Madam Walker's Wonderful Hair Grower. She devised sophisticated sales and marketing strategies and traveled extensively to give product demonstrations in 1910. She moved her company to the Indianapolis, where she built a factory, hair salon, and training school. As she developed new products, her empire grew. She devoted much of her time and money in a variety of cases in Indianapolis, including the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, and the Young Men's Christian Association's YMCA. In 1917, she organized a convention for her Madam C.J. Walker Haircuts Culturist Union of America. This was one of the first national meetings for a businesswoman ever held. By the time of her death, she had established herself a pioneer the modern African American hair care and cosmetic industry. In 1872, Marcel Goutte invented the first curling iron, tongs heated by a gas burner. Later, around 1923, he created an electric version because he introduced the several electric versions. The actual date of the invention remains in the dispute. Goutte went on the development of a permanent wave machine, barber's clippers, a safety razor, and other devices. That was a lot that went on in the year of 1910. The 1920s, the cosmetics industry grew rapidly. During the 1920s, advertising, expenditures, and radio alone went from $309,000 and deemed cosmetics improper and refused to print cosmetic advertising. But by the end of the 1920s, the cosmetics provided one of the largest sources of advertising revenue. The 1920s were also an era of change for cosmetology. The unionizing and practicing of barbering ushered in the whole new set of standards that upgraded and practiced cosmetology in 1924. The Associated Master Barbers of America was organized in Chicago. The name was later changed to the Associated Master Barbers and Beauticians of America, AMBBA, and represented barbershops and beauty salon owners and managers. By 1925, the AMBBA established the National Education Council with the goal of understanding requirements for barber schools and barber instructing training, establishing a curriculum, and set forth the state licensing laws. By 1929, AMBBA adopted a barber code of ethics to promote professional responsibility in the trade. So in other words, this is when the schools made it to where you had to be licensed. We almost there, y'all. That's a lot to read. We're going to read this whole book here together on YouTube, and you guys can watch it, study it, read it with me. But this book is like the real deal. I've read it like 2 times already. Alright, let's do this. It's really hard to focus. I need to start exercising so I can concentrate better. 1930s. In 1931, the preheat perm method was introduced. First, hair was wrapped using the Congreve method. Then clamps that had been preheated by a separate electrical unit were placed over the wound curls. An alternative to the machine perm was introduced in 1932 when chemists Ralph L. Evans and Everett G. McDuff pioneered a method that used heat generated by chemical reactions. Small flexible pads containing a chemical mixture were wound around hair strands. When the pads were moistened with water, a chemical heat was released that created a long-lasting curl. The first machine's permanent wave was born. Salon clients were no longer subjected to the dangers and discomforts of Nestler's machine. Yeah, that looks crazy. Okay. That looks crazy. It looks like it hurts. Okay, in 1932, nearly 4,000 years after the first recorded nail color craze, Charles Revizin and of Revlon fame marketed the first nail polish as opposed to the nail stain, using formulas that were borrowed from the automobile paint industry. This milestone marked a dramatic shift in the nail cosmetics as women finally had an array of nail liqueurs available to them. The early screen sirens Jean Harlow and Georgia Swanson glamorized this hip new nail fashion in silent pictures, and early techies by appearing in films wearing matching polish on their fingers and toes. Also in 1932, Lawrence Gelb, a New York chemist, introduced the first permanent product founded in the company called Clairol natural on color film. In 1938, Arnold F. Willott invented the cold wave that used no machines or heat. The cold wave is considered to be a precursor to the modern perm. Wow. 1940s, let's go. In 1941, scientists developed another method of permanent waving that used waving lotion. Because this perm did not use heat, it was also a cold wave. Cold waves replaced virtually all processors and competitors, and the fact of cold waving and permanent waving became practically synonyms. Modern versions of cold wave usually refer to outline perms and are very popular today. The term texture service is used today to refer to the variety of the permanent waving and straightening services available for various hair types and conditions. 1951 through 2000. The second half of the 20th century saw the introduction of tube mascara, improved hair care and nail products, and the boom and then the death of the week of the salon appointment in the 1960s. Vado Susan turned a hairstyling world on its ear. His revolutionary geometric cuts. The 1970s saw a new era in highlighting when French hairdressers introduced the art of hair weaving. Using aluminum foil, iconic hairdresser Trevor Sorbie opened his first salon in Covent Garden, England in 1979. His creativity and forward thinking made him one of the most influential hairdressers of all times. In the 1980s, makeup went full circle from barely there to heavily made up cat eyes and the heavy use of eyeshadows and blush. In 1985, hairdresser Farrokh Shami, led by his passion for his craft and environment, revolutionized the beauty industry by inventing the world's first ammonia-free hair color. The first year of North America Hairstyling Awards (NAHA) were held was 1989, and there were only 5 categories. This event gave hairdressers an opportunity to compete and showcase their talents amongst the best in the industry. Today, it is still the most convenient hairstyling award in North America. Now with 14 categories to compete, in the 1990s, hair color became gentler, allowing all ethnicities to enjoy, being blondes, brunettes, redheads. In 1998, Creative Nail Design introduced the first spa pedicure system to the professional beauty industry. Wow. Now to the 21st century. Today, hairstyles have gone farther and wider. No fade hair color. Estheticians can noticeably rejuvenate the skin as well as deep disorders such as sunspots and mild acne at bay. The beauty industry has entered the age of specialization. Now cosmetologists frequently specialize either in hair color, texture, or in hair cutting. Estheticians specialize in aesthetics or medical aspects. Services and nail technicians either offer a full array of services or specialize in an artificial nail enhancement, natural nail care, or even procedures. Since in the late 1980s, the salon industry has evolved to include day spas, a name that was first coined by beauty legend Neil DiCaprio. Day spas now represent an excellent employment opportunity for beauty practitioners. Men only specialize in spas and barber spas and also have grown in popularity. These spas provide exciting new opportunities for men's hair and nails and skincare specialists. Alright, y'all. That is it. We will do part 3 next week.